last time on Critnet, Parker, you managed to save your father from a horrific injury he had and sustained from... now... Sorry. Okay. Parker, you found your family. Your father having been grievously injured by one of the creatures that came out of the fracture. You managed to save your father, your mother, and Janice, and a huge wad of instruments that are also now on the ship. You had a conversation with Relic about saving his life. Relic came over, helped him out, helped him below deck, and there he lay. You and Ellanya went below deck and worked out a study for yourselves to kind of start going over the notes that you two had. Didn't make through a heck of a lot, but, you've begun the process. And Kruz, you yeeteth your sword into the fracture beforehand.
Too soon.
And at this point, you have begun to craft a new one out of scrap materials, Jerry, and your own brutish wit.
There's no brutish wit when it comes to blacksmithing. Oh, I dropped something.
I'm pretty sure that is the definition of blacksmithing, is brutish wit. Actually.
And that's all Kruz has got.
Yep.
This may be true.
Little bit of strength, little bit of brawn. But
a little bit of harmonica all night long.
A harmonica?
Mambo number 5.
Oh.
What?
Ricky Martin.
And
all
there's
right,
the blooper.
Yep. Vall, you and your posse helped yourself to some credits from Ghastgar. And with that, a intimidation later on one of them being put in the place by one Ellanya and Jerry with the help of... They have now, whatever, you all know what's happened. This is going to be an awful last time on anyway. This whole thing's going to get cut. With that, we pick up. Any questions?
Yeah, what the happened? Or, that's going to get cut. What happened with Riggs when you had us do headphones off?
That's a great question. Listen to the pre-edits, and you'll know.
But that's cheating.
Well, he's asking. Well, that's a great question. Although, Parker, Ellanya, Vall, Kruz, and Ghastgar, you have all been informed of a possible meeting within about the next 30 minutes. The 30 minutes has run up and is now about the time that you all were pre-designated to kind of get together and meet up. Do you all begin to conglomerate on the deck of the ship?
What?
I'm already up there.
Gather at the helm because that's where I am, and I don't dare leave the steering wheel of a ship.
It's on autopilot. It's fine.
That's it. Way anchor.
Oh, no. I set up Swiss to control the steering wheel.
Oh!
With its spider legs. Yes.
All right, I kicked the anchor off.
Okay, Vall boots the anchor. It drops 50 feet into nothing. And it stops.
And it just dangles there.
The whole ship rocks a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Lists off to the port.
Okay, so Ghastgar, Vall, you two first there to meet up.
Well, I was right next to Vall.
Okay, so Ellanya, you're there as well.
Kruz is gonna walk over, like searching through his bag, and he's just gonna randomly ask, does anybody have like a glass orb, a barrel, and a trigger at all?
No. Why?
Vall will pull out a gun.
Oh, thank you.
Well, no. We're trading now. What do you have to offer?
I'll give you 100 credits.
No.
Ghastgar just begins chuckling a little bit. Kruz, I'll make you a trigger for 200 credits.
You know what to make.
Just a trigger.
No, I need a barrel too. So
that's 500 credits.
Wait, hold on. Is this a handgun or is this a rifle? I need a rifle.
Oh, 800 credits for the barrel.
No, I need the whole thing.
So what you're saying is you want a gunsmith to make you a custom-made gun?
No. I need it for parts.
I will make you a barrel for 800 credits and a trigger for 200.
I need quality craftsmanship here. This is not a joke.
Oh yeah. I will craft it. I will craft it right up for you.
You say to the mongoose with a rifle on his back that he made himself?
2 guns, final lava.
Yes, but I also know the mongoose with the rifle on his back that he made himself likes to be creative when he's doing projects for people.
I mean, I've made a teleporting caltrop gun for someone.
True. All right, fine. I'll give you 1,000 credits total.
Ghastgar eagerly gets to work.
Okay.
I'm going to hand him the measurements for the barrel that I need.
Stick out my cred stick in expecting you to transfer the 1,000 credits to me.
I will give you 500 now and 500 when you deliver.
Deal.
Done.
500 credits later.
I look over at Vall, and that's how I do business.
I'm going to look at Huum and go, do you have a glass orb at all? Because I will gladly trade you.
1 second. I do not believe I've acquired anything of the sort recently. I could be wrong.
You have a vial.
I used to have vials. They are now crushed up into bags of powder.
That'll work. I'll take glass powder.
Oh, you will take the glass powder? Well, I have...
Glass is kind of hard to come by these days. You should better be sure for that powder you get 600 credits, or you're selling yourself short there, Vall.
There are glass shards all over the city limits. We can, if I need glass that bad, I can go get it.
You mean the city overrun by beasts?
Give me a cantrip drive, and they are yours.
Okay, I can do that. Oh, now I'm down to... Okay, I can do that.
All right, you will have to make sure you sift out all the ash, soot, and metal shavings.
Oh, it's all going to go into a fire. It's fine.
Okay, no harm, no foul. Unfortunately, that was the last of my blinding powder.
Okay.
Sawyer, how long will it take me to craft these? If you want me to roll like a d4 or something, I will do so. But
okay. Okay.
Like that's how many hours? Like 1d4 hours?
Or like days.
Okay. Right now, you are planning on you're planning on starting to make this object, but at this time, Parker, you and Edward Ludicius, who have now arrived and watched all the bartering go down right now. Edward, looking at all of you, weren't we supposed to have a conversation of sorts?
We were supposed to.
Well, Parker is incredibly slow, so we did some business while we waited.
Nice of you to join us, Ludicius. Good to have you here.
Of course. This is, I was below deck watching everything go down behind us, trying to make sure that nothing was following us.
You know, Ludicius, while you're here, I've got a question for you.
I have a possible answer.
How often have you been in the fracture?
Well, I've been in the fracture 3 times. Once with you, and twice experimenting with the other crystals that you all dropped. I haven't been in there quite, a lot. That's for sure.
Insight check.
Please roll.
That's a 7. That ain't telling me anything.
7. By his body language of looking up, trying to kind of count on his fingers how many times, he seems very genuine. But also, if this is in fact going to be a bit of a meeting of the minds, don't we want to make sure we have everybody here? Relic, my name is... Do we want to make sure that everyone is informed of this?
At the mention of my name is, all my fur stands up on end for a moment.
Ellanya is just gonna look at him and say, I think this is a conversation for just between the party and yourself, and that is it. And Relic.
Well, should we move this somewhere that is not the deck of the ship in order for us to be in less peering eyes as he looks over at My Name Is, who has in fact noticed everyone conglomerating and is kind of cocked her head curiously. I do know of a storage facility that I was just raided out of. We could go down there and use that.
That's a wonderful idea.
He looks down at you, Parker.
To me, honestly, it does not matter where we have this.
Well, I would prefer to keep things out of some certain people's prying eyes.
Very well. And he motions down below deck as he takes the lead and begins to walk down.
If anybody looks at Kruz, Kruz is back with Merdina and Jerry, and Kruz is teaching Merdina how to blow glass at the moment, and then he comes running to...
Kruz! It's not time for blacksmithing. We need you in here now. Come on. Now.
I pull out the caltrip gun, and I shoot a caltrop out his tail to teleport it directly at the tip of his tail.
Okay, roll to hit.
That is a 19.
19. Kruz, the very tip of your tail suddenly has a shooting pain in it as it now possesses a caltrop.
What? Hold on. The tip of my tail is like a bone spike. I'm a dragonborn, so...
It hurt really bad.
Ow.
But by the way, it's not just being pricked by it, it is inside of it.
Ow!
Uh-huh.
So, Kruz is gonna think something hot fell on his tail, and then he's gonna... What?
Kruz, move it. Follow us.
Okay, Merdina, when it's all done, just knock it off right into this
shoot again.
loved area, and I'm going.
Oh, I rolled another 19.
Okay, by this point, roll damage.
All right, what did we say? 1d4. That's a 1.
Okay, take 1 point of damage as another one joins its predecessor.
Oh no, I'm down to 89 from 90. Kruz is gonna turn and go with everyone.
You leave Merdina, who at the moment is kind of having fun at the end of the rolling pipe. She at the moment has realized that if she blows it or like sucks in as well, the glass kind of like floofs in. So she's like blowing in and out, in and out, in and out.
Oh, that's 1,500 degrees.
Yeah, actually, you really don't do that. That
You
will,
are absolutely correct. You do not do that.
that will scar your lungs like bah.
That will burn all the way down to your lungs.
As you disappear down below deck, you overhear her.
I turned to Relic. You're probably gonna need to give her one of those potions later.
Relic, as he's walking out of the door, give who what? Who is that?
Just go watch Merdina. She's playing with fire.
No, Relic is coming with us.
Relic, she learned her lesson the hard way. She won't do it again. Don't worry about it. But later on, she's probably gonna need some medical attention. Now come with us.
I think my lungs are on fire!
She can talk. She's fine.
She could drink some water.
Okay.
Some vodka.
Vodka did not help!
Okay, Relic follows you all down into the storage room. Ellanya, you had seen the room earlier. The lock on it right now has been what looks like broken using a mild explosive. And with that, the doors kind of shut mostly behind you guys as everyone files in. There's crates, various other kind of bits and pieces of supplies kind of strewn about. But there's plenty of like medium-sized crates for everyone to just kind of hop on and sit. And as Relic sits down, the doors are shut. Edward kind of takes his little cane and leans up against it. All right, what do we have to discuss?
All right, I've gathered you all here to go over a couple of things. Parker will take out his violin and lay it on the table. For those of you who do not know, at this point you should know that this violin here can cast magic without a magic tech drive.
Well, of course it is. It was made by I believe, Tyrannel Reinhardt, and he, in his early days, he crafted a lot of magical items. Not many have survived. A lot of them reforged into Magitech weapons, but that is a rare commodity and now one of a kind. So don't lose it.
What how does it cast magic without a Magitech drive?
Well, before when magic was rampant in the world and permeated everything, the Reinhardts discovered how to imbue magic into weapons, and they would be like unlimited magical generators. As long as you use quality material, the magic wouldn't override the material. If you used low material, you'd have maybe like 1 or 2 shots, and then the whatever weapon you were using would literally turn to dust into your hand. But Tyrannel discovered how to use the best quality materials to make weapons permanent.
So there's possibility that there's other one of these in the world.
I would not. He did not like to make doubles, but I'm pretty. There's a possibility that there's another weapon out there that can use magic. Somebody may just not know they have it.
Most of them are in the Reinhardt's possession then.
No, a lot of them were all reforged. Only the favorites really stuck around, and those were far and in between. I think the only other one was Silenara's family weapon that my grandfather made for his grandfather.
Oh, so that's a bit of good news?
No, because it's in the fracture.
Well, not in the Reinhardt's hand is what I'm getting at.
Well, the Reinhardt's estate is in the fracture, and we don't know what state they're in, so it could be in their hands.
Wait a minute. How do you know the Reinhardt estate is in the fracture?
Well, it wasn't everything sunk into the fracture, the whole city. So wouldn't that just, go to think that it just all fell down in there? It's probably all into ruins, but it's in the fracture. There's at least the slightest chance that somebody could have survived. So I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate that if somebody did survive and they're down there.
I highly doubt anyone survived. The Shade's intention was to kill every Reinhardt.
Yeah, but with the amount of power that the Shade has, they could all be dead, but that doesn't mean they're not walking.
So, Parker.
Sorry, my attention was drawn somewhere else. I apologize. That's my second thing I would like to bring up. Before, in the past, we have held Kruz to a different standard, him being a Reinhardt, and holding that secret from us. There was a point where we made him come clean. I have also been holding a secret from you all.
Uh-oh.
I cock the caltrip gun and point it at a hoof. I don't shoot yet, but I point it.
I respect your hesitation. Down when we were fighting the Ingros and Crad, I feel like I actually might have died.
Well, we were pretty close there.
When I went down, Goang visited me, and he blessed me with power.
Does the name Goang ring any bells?
Well, a history check.
That is a 12.
It sounds like one of the 19 gods. You can't remember what his vocation was.
That seems like that's one of the name of the guilds. Is that one of the gods then?
Yes, correct. It is the god of song.
Hey. But we've only known of 2 other gods that have seemed to escape the ire and containment, or at least the full containment of the Shade.
From what I gathered and the experience that I had with him, it was not his physical form, more or less like a mental theater coming through from the other side. I do not believe he is actually here on this plane with us.
He's not, because the Shade said that all the gods were locked up in a veil.
He was able to communicate with you through the veil that seemed to have been put up by the Shade? Is that the best way to understand this, or is there maybe something else?
I am not entirely sure. All I know is that the presence I felt when I was experiencing the vision that I had with him, it was intense. I cannot deny that.
Maybe your musical abilities are so great that he chose you, Parker. Because you're willing to sacrifice so much.
I will take that as a compliment, thank you.
You're welcome.
On the other hand, perhaps Parker was just hit very, very hard in the head.
That is true. He was hit very hard.
You know, that is the rational explanation, but we've also experienced enough irrational things that I think we shouldn't rule it out.
No, I believe Parker, for sure.
With Vall's doubts, Parker will roll up his sleeves, kind of like show the wrists of him not hooked up to any magitech, and then I will cast Mirror Image. And as you guys would see as I cast this, 3 kind of forms appear, shifting and phasing through me and kind of focused on a key point, but still moving and shifting around.
I would like to see if the violin is resonating in any sort of way with his spell casting to see if this is distinctly separate from him or related to the violin.
Okay. Roll a Arcana check.
How does a 28 sound?
28 sounds amazing. With 28, you are able to deduce that while he's casting this spell, the magic of the violin is inert.
Okay. That's interesting. In case for the rest of you who don't have maybe the little bit more slightly discerning eye as to Arcana, anything of an arcane nature, that violin was not having any magical resonance, period, in what was going on right now. That was coming purely from Parker. That is insanely unique.
Hopefully this will clear any doubt.
Could it be a side effect of being in the fractures? The only reason I ask is because during our last battle, I was able to do something that a Dragonborn hasn't been able to do since magic has left the world, and that's breathe fire. Ellanya seems to be able to cast spells without magitech drives whatsoever. At least I haven't noticed her using any, but then again, she could be very, very skilled at hiding it.
I have like a baby backpack, but with like a Magitech drive in it. I put it on in the very first part of that episode.
That's a joke, right?
No, it's not a joke. It's like a harness thing with a big Magitech drive in it.
The reason why I got confused that whether or not Walter was there or not in that one instance, by the way, Lola, you win that bet. Well done. The reason why I was confused was because Walter shouldn't be able to jump out of the necklace on the surface without any like magitech around. But he did, and it was because you declared that you were using the magitech drive, and I didn't remember that, so that was my bad.
Okay. Well, I guess that squashed my thought process for now, but that still doesn't hide the fact that I was able to do something that no Dragonborn has been able to do for over 100 years, and that's I was able to breathe fire. So...
Kruz, I'd like to point out something to you. That was in the fracture, and I was able to do a very simple light spell while we were down there as well. And so it's not to belittle anything that you did, but I think the fracture gives us some access to magic that is not available to here. And that's, I think, maybe because of proximity to the aquarium. This is my guess. This is my hypothesis that as we get closer and closer and closer and closer to level 20 of the fracture, as revealed by the map, where the Silvered Shade is supposed to be an actual form, and where he has the aquarium, one would suppose that as we get closer to it, we will get stronger and stronger in any ability to cast magic without the aid of magic tech. But we are up here on the on the surface. as far away as we could possibly be without going up into the great blue beyond.
Which actually, you guys are on an airship, so technically you are even further than the average person.
Right. Right. We are as far away as pretty much anyone has been from the aquarium since the fractures first opened. And he just did a serious spell.
So could that be just leftover magic that he absorbed from the fracture, or?
I don't think so, because I am now I'm like doing the same motions that I did in order to do the cantrip that I did down in the fracture, and with the same effort, and I'm not able to do anything. Kruz, attempt to breathe fire.
While you two are bickering, Parker has backed away and sat down, and he is staring down at his hands. Because what Kruz has said has struck a weird chord with him. Maybe this is all a lie. The box teleports people. Maybe I had a vision. I don't know what's real anymore.
Parker, listen to the sound of my voice. This is real. Parker, what you just did is real and not a trick of your imagination.
Is it Ghastgar? I don't know.
I slap him real hard.
Pull it together, man.
Can Parker make a perception check on reality itself?
Yes. Please make an existential check.
Don't roll too well.
don't roll one.
Too well.
I feel like that's just a really hardcore wisdom save, isn't it?
13?
13. So just focusing and looking at the world around you.
Wait. I would like to expend a flash of expertise to add a +5 to his roll, but through the slap that I had done previously to help anchor him to reality through a sense of pain.
Give a reality slap.
Okay. Ghastgar, the king of reality who slapped reality into a king, now slaps reality across your face, Parker. And in a split second, as his little mongoose hand hits your eyes, and you get that kind of like firefly effect from when something hits your eyes pretty hard, you do see, just for the split second, 6 squares and what look like humanoids in them, but just for the most like split second, and then you're back to reality, and you... Okay, yeah, no, you're definitely in reality.
Parker will wipe a tear out of his eye and thank you, Ghastgar.
Anytime, as I put my claws away.
At that, Ludicius stands, and he comes over to you, Parker, and Ghastgar. And Ghastgar, that was well done. A bit of percussive maintenance does help one think a bit clearer. However, I must point out to you all that this is kind of my area of expertise. My theories revolve around the depths of the fracture and how magic works within it. That's what my crystals are trying to access. Kruz, you are not wrong in saying that one can possess residual magic having left the fracture, but it is for a very, very short amount of time. I have tried to keep this magic for as long as possible, and I've only recorded at least 5 minutes, but anything beyond that, every ounce of magic fades very quickly. It deteriorates no matter at what strength it was at previously. What Parker was just able to do was not something that could have possibly been a result from residual magic within the fracture. And Ghastgar, you also correct that I am assuming in my theory that the closer we get to the center of Edranis, the more powerful magic is. Whether that's due to the aquarium or the very nature of Edranis itself, I, for one, see it as remaining to be seen. There are not a lot we understand about the way magic works at a very base level. But I am hopeful that at least going deeper will allow us to answer some more of these questions. But whatever happened to you, Parker, is a very unique thing. And if you say Goang was the one who contacted you, I'm not one to trust the gods on the base. I see them as needing something in return. Was there anything going requested of you?
Just to cut in really quick, Edward, this isn't our first divine intervention.
Oh?
I shoot Cruz's tail with the caltrip gun again. Okay, this time it's only an 11.
Having been hit twice before, Kruz flicks his tail out of the way as it hits directly into the metal of the ship.
Our little angry mongoose over here had a, I guess, response from another god. This isn't our first coming across of a god. We have discovered that Vall has been trapped inside of orbs, I guess is how I should put it.
I look over at Relic and I face palm.
You see Relic look to Kruz and look to the rest of you, and you do see him kind of shuffle back just like half a step.
Oh, Relic, this is not a time for secrets. Stop being a chicken. We got to put everything on the dang table.
This point, I level my rifle at Cruz's head and say, "Shut up."
Edward gets between you two. Edward gets between you two. He holds the barrel up, and he kind of like puts a hand to Kruz. My gentlemen, if there's something that you wish for me not to know, I will pry no further. I assure you. I study the fracture. My interest is not necessarily in the gods. I have my theories. Yes.
Edward, I'm going to hand this to you. I hand him the gun. Kruz, let's go talk out in the alley, out in the hall for a moment, please.
No!
Will the both of you get done with it and get on to this meeting with Parker?
Is this a time to have secrets? I mean, Edward has
Possibly.
proved that he's on our side. He's saved our butts already. What else do you need?
Just because he's trustworthy doesn't mean he deserves all of our secrets. I'm sorry, Edward.
Exactly what she said. There are some things that perhaps you should... those are secrets that other people should be allowed to reveal instead of you. Like, you just revealed somebody else's secret for them. Consider that.
I'm gonna step by Relic.
Coming across a god in a bauble on the second level and Relic knows about it is exposing Relic's secret?
At him actually saying Relic's name, Ghastgar just leaves. I walk
Okay.
out and I go to the helm.
Can I follow Ghastgar, please?
Yes.
I'm gonna walk up to Ghastgar and I'm gonna kind of kneel. I understand this is frustrating. I am also frustrated. I am the first one to understand secrets and wanting people to respect your privacy. Right now, let's deal with this after. We need to talk as a team to handle what we're going to do next. And then we can handle that after. Just please, for this moment, we all need to work together. And then you can take your space from Kruz. I'll even tell him to back off from you if you want.
Fine.
Thank you. I have some more chamomile leaves if you want them.
Do they have a strange calming effect when smoked?
I totally, I hand Ghastgar some.
Very well. In the few moments that they were gone, does anyone say anything? Edward turns to you all. Well, with this in mind, I do suppose my welcome has been worn. I'm going to join the others on top of the ship.
Hold on, Edward, before you go, I do have to say thank you. Without you, we wouldn't be standing here. Like, you came in and saved our butts. So, you have my trust, Edward. Don't abuse it. Because it's a fragile thing.
I can imagine with the team at like this, but and as you two walk back in, Edward does address the rest of you. I do hope that you do at some point come to fully trust me, but I understand that trust is earned, and trust like this especially is earned over a long time.
Edward, if I may, it is not that I don't trust you. It is just that I have a problem with somebody else revealing somebody else's secrets apart from having permission. And I go and stand over with Relic. On my way past Edward, I grab my gun from his hand and put it back on my shoulder.
As you do so, Edward does lean down to your ear, and a fine piece of craftsmanship, Mongoose. I'd love to take a closer look at it later.
Absolutely. That sounds fantastic. There's an upgrade I've been wanting to do with it, by the way, and maybe you and I could talk about that later.
I would love to help. But for the time being, I bid you all adieu and a good conversation. I will, if you'd like, stand on the outside and make sure no one bothers.
No, I want you in this room because I do think you have
Yes.
some expertise to help us with the conversation.
Right? Well, if this is the consensus of the group, then I shall remain. And seeing Relic's nervousness, you do see him kind of like, almost like bow a little bit and kind of take a position on the opposite end of Relic.
I turn to Relic and I just flat out ask, because his name has now been said with Thalia, do you want him to hear any more, or have you had enough of him hearing anything?
At the Relic does look at Edward and kind of like narrow his eyes. You see Relic, you see his hand almost move to his side. And you see his hand kind of like come off of it rather quickly. And then, no, what has been said has been enough. We shall leave it at that.
Does that mean you want him out, or he's okay to stay in?
He may remain as long as the conversation does not continue down the path that it was previously.
I don't say anything more other than stare more daggers at Kruz.
Yeah, I'd say roll to hit, but you know how it goes.
I'm gonna go and kind of like notice Relic's nervousness, and I'm gonna stand next to him and just kind of like put a hand on his shell, and I'm gonna look at Parker and say, "You were saying we'll uninterrupted this time. Go ahead."
I do apologize. I was not anticipating this meeting going down a weird path. All I wanted to do was get everything out in the open, from my point of view. And if anybody else had anything they wanted to share and get out and off of their chest. If we're going to continue forward as a team, then we need to be level with each other.
I do have a few things to mention. First off, I've always had one puzzle piece that has been missing in my research, and it was this journal. And it turns out my people knew that it was the shade down in the aquariums, and I can't. It is so frustrating to know that. And I need to know more, and I need to get down to that 4th level, because I feel like there's a lot of answers there that we seek to what we need to do. And there was also something mentioned by my people about making an elixir to kill the gods by using the Guardian's hearts. Now, I don't think they were right. Just by the basis of that journal and the writing and the aggressiveness, I am swaying on a different path. So I need to get to the 4th level to get the answers, to know where I need to head. I'm at a crossroads.
I, too, would like to get to the 4th level of the fracture. I'm also just not entirely certain if that is even an option for us anymore. Granted, I recognize there are other fractures out there, but are they the same fracture? If we go to the next fracture in Morin, is the 4th level there going to be the same as the 4th level in the fracture that is now Hopel?
I would imagine so. I mean, he wants all the people to gather at the 20th level. I would imagine they're all just a gateway to the same place.
Does anybody have any... I mean, this is conjecture. And Edward, perhaps this is where you have some expertise that we really should rely on here. Or maybe Relic, you're an oldie fracture delver. Have you heard tale that the 4th level might be the same as any other fracture?
We've had transfers come from different guild halls from around the world. From the stories that they tell, the fracture is not necessarily the same. It's the same biome, the same creatures. Everything about them is the same in the levels. But as far as the topography goes, it seems as though they're unique in that way. So it's like if you had a map, and then it's just layers to a map. Where if you drop down in one place, it's unique below it, but the same biome, I suppose. You could walk from one to the other. It's just a very long and arduous journey through most of the levels, so that it's not done often.
Different terrain, same beasties.
Exactly.
If one wanted to travel from the Hopalian fracture to the fracture in Morin, would one be able to do that?
Yes.
Then perfect. That's all we need to know.
So it is indeed the same place. It's just we're entering in very different locations.
I would also say that it is not recommended to make such a travel, as the surface is significantly less dangerous than any level of the fracture I know.
Well, can't we just use the map for another way in?
Yes, Ellanya, we do we do have the map.
But wouldn't it show another way in instead of going to Morin? I think that's why the Shade gave it to us. So we knew how to get in.
I suppose there's only one way to find out.
But the problem that persists is that I believe both Ellanya and I's separate goals for wanting to be on the 4th level of the fracture happen to coincide with the Temple of Kret.
I will go with you to Temple of Kret. I just need to be able to perform a Nature's Whisper.
Oh, I thought you wanted to get to a holy spot for that.
No, the 4th level is all-encompassing.
That was my misunderstanding.
No, it's okay. The 4th level is all-encompassing of Lamonia, so I can perform a Nature's Whisper outside the Temple of Kret while you're in there.
Well, Odysseus, do you have any insight into some of the matters that we have discussed thus far?
I have heard of Kret, the god of secrets, if I recall. I am not 100% sure what a Temple of Kret would be doing. You mentioned a temple, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any idea where this temple is?
No.
Well, that makes things a little bit difficult, because at least if we're going off of what Relic has said, and that the temple can be anywhere on the plane of existence down there, then we have a whole country to look for.
Yep.
I do know I have to get back into the fracture as well, because the Reinhardt estate is down there, which means my hammer is down there, which means I'm going with you, but we have to go one level at a time.
Your hammer? You mean your hammer like a blacksmith hammer? You're a blacksmith. You can make another hammer. I know of great hammers where you can buy them.
I pull out a little hammer, a mongoose-sized hammer from my backpack.
No, not. This hammer is not just any hammer. This hammer is unique and it's ancient. So,
Well, if I do recall you saying that the Rhine Metal District, along with the rest of the city, is now sitting somewhere deep within the fracture, it seems as though that's not going to be very easily accessible by anywhere around Hopel. So if you were to try to get there, you'd have to go down a fracture nearby and then travel?
either way,
Or use the map.
I need to go into the fracture.
I do suppose that you did mention that you did drop a locator down on the 1st level. I suppose as long as the area hasn't been too terribly damaged, you could use that.
What I would be more curious about is if we could get to the locator that we dropped in the 2nd level. So
I imagine that's possible as long as the area hasn't been terribly disturbed by this. I don't know how deep this fracture just formed, Traditional ones go very deep, so...
Ludicious,
Yes, sir.
you had us put crystals on each level of the fracture.
I did.
We've only been to 3, and I don't think we put one on the 8th level.
Vall did.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a clever boy.
So my question is, can we use your way into the fracture?
Well, that is what I was suggesting. I don't know what you were thinking I was suggesting.
What may be a good idea, this fracture event seems to be something special compared to other fractures that have formed. I might have a ponderance if echoes of this fracture were felt by other guilds and other cities while they were in the fracture. And if they were, then that may give us some sort of insight into what we would be teleporting into. Something to consider.
Or we ask Relic because he's old.
Hey, just because I'm old doesn't mean you have to point it out, Vall. I'm sure you're really old too. What are you, like 40, 50?
Ooh, numbers. They hurt almost as much as your words. Oh,
Hey,
man.
what's wrong with being 50?
I didn't say nothing about being 50. I'm just pointing him out for it.
Eddie Zero. I think that's closer to Relic.
Excuse you. I'm only 382. Get your facts right.
Holy crap.
I'm just kidding. Don't quote me on that. No,
That's young for a turtle.
it used to be, that's for sure. I will say, though, that if we did get to a fellow guild hall somewhere nearby, it would behoove us to be able to see what kind of damage has been caused. Because as long as they have members, then we could find our way down, we're still guild members. We still have free access to any of the guilds of the world. So we could still use that to gather some information about the state of what these new fractures formed, if that is what we want to do. I'm just providing a way or means in order to do it.
Parker, would you be willing to play your violin? And Vall, would you be willing to give your pages so we can just see if anything different changes on that map?
Certainly. As long as someone has asked. And Huum will stop fiddling with the bolts in his claws. And will bring out his stack of papers.
Thank you, Vall. I appreciate it.
You are welcome.
Paka, would you mind playing? I just want to see if we see an entrance or something's different about this map before we try figuring it out elsewhere.
I'm very curious as well. And if I do recall, the last time we played, when it showed down to the 20th level, it looked like it went to a small figure of the Silvered Shade. So I'm curious where that line will lead now. And I'll grab that violin off the table and I'll start playing.
Then Huum shoots him with his crossbow. Haha, betrayal.
Suddenly, Parker is pinned to the other wall. Large bolt in his heart. Looking at him. Betrayal!
I cast Shatter on myself.
The violin shatters out. Now none of you will be able to find the fracture.
And then drink 4 gallons of poison in a round.
No, that's just what you do in real life.
Shush, I only did that at the beginning of session. Don't tell everybody.
Power of post-production.
Our post-production will compel you.
Censor yourselves, all of you. Never mind, cuss all you want. I have fun putting those dice rolls in instead.
They're fun listening
now,
to.
With that in mind, I'm glad. With that in mind, Parker, you play the music. The map suddenly forms. What you notice is it is the line that does begin at the front, or at the top, makes its way not directly down. You're kind of able to see this another section that's there, the surface. And it shows a line to the nearest fracture, which is still in Hopel. Goes down to the first level, down to the second. You do see that it follows at the moment the same path. But I would like perception checks from everyone looking at this.
Advantage, perhaps, because we have looked at it many times.
Sure.
That is a 16.
That is a nat 20.
Roll 20. Quick hit.
14.
I rolled an 18.
For Parker, that is an unnatural 20.
A natural 20. All right. Well, for those of you who would see it, easily able to point it out to the rest of you all, you would see that this particular section of the map that it is showing is not entirely the same as what it was down in the fracture. You see that it is off-center a little bit. Almost like it's showing just a slightly offset section of the fracture beneath, kind of like a sonar. Like where you are, it's showing straight down from where you're at through the fractures.
So, in other words, what you're saying is it appears to be the same, we're just viewing it from a slightly different perspective?
Kind of, yes. It's literally like if you had a sonar going down and you see just kind of the topography moving along, you would recognize that this, you see like half of the usual topography that you have seen previously, but the other half of it, now that you guys are so offset from the city, is now different.
Do we see any ways in?
It does have the golden strand leading into what you would see as the city of Hopel. For the time being, at least in your general vicinity, you don't know exactly how far out this magical quote-unquote sonar goes. But it seems like the only fracture it's picking up in the general vicinity is the one that is inside Hopel.
Did my 14 pass that check? Because
Yes, everyone could have pointed out to you afterwards. I just wanted someone to make sure that they hit a 20.
Okay.
So the information has been passed along.
do I see anything in the topography of of level 4 that looks like it could be the Temple of Kret?
You do not, but you surmise that this would be a great way of trying to find it.
Okay. Vall? Parker? This is going to be a fantastic way that we did not know about before of possibly locating specific locations in the fracture that could be of interest. We now have seen a different part of the map that we have never seen before. Now, we know we need to find the Temple of Kret, so perhaps maybe what we could do is in, say, when we start getting closer to Morin or the Sandlands or wherever the heck we decide to go while we're on this flying ship of ours, we should periodically do a check like this to see if maybe we can find places of interest, if you will. Can I see anything that does look distinctly like Mist and Sweat on this map? So I can kind of point that out and be like, see, like, here's a city. Here's some buildings.
Yes, you can actually see Mist and Sweat from here, yes.
And so I kind of point that out and be like, look, like, here's Mist and Sweat. It looks like we see buildings here. We see things like that. We should maybe be looking for the Temple of Kret or for some other things. Something that looks anomalous other than trees and rivers and mountains and such.
So what happens if I pull level 2 out of the stack? Because that's what I'm doing.
So what is interesting is trying to pull the second page. You see and you kind of feel the threads that kind of bind the whole thing going up and down. You kind of move it a little bit. You see the topography on the page itself move and kind of appear with you as you just kind of scoot it over just a little bit. It doesn't release itself entirely, and you're able to get it about a foot out of the stack before it becomes too hard to kind of pull.
Oh, so he was able to kind of like move it around and reveal more of the map?
A little bit, yep.
Ghastgar instantly, upon seeing that, grabs 4 and it doesn't move it yet. And I look up at Huum. Sorry, permission. Permission? Move.
Mind your claws.
I like, you can see the muscles and tendons in my paws almost like retracting as hard as they can and spasming. I move. And I scan around.
Scanning around in kind of the foot that it allows you to, you're able to see... It's interesting, actually. The river bottomless that cuts through the second level of the fracture descends into kind of what looks like a waterfall, almost into the third level, And down into the 4th level, you're able to kind of see, like, as you move it a little bit more to the left, kind of a bow, where it looks like where the river kind of like cuts down a little bit more and appears on the 4th level. Beyond that, kind of moving around, you just see the small itty bitty trees, like a total jungle biome. And that's about the main thing you're able to reveal as you kind of move it over to the side, and it just kind of appears a little bit of like an oxbow.
This is interesting about the river bottomless. If anybody else cares to notice this, that it seems to carry on from the 2nd level through the 3rd through the 4th. That's interesting. Don't see a temple.
Relic kind of looks at this.
I wonder if it is bottomless. That's just what we called it because we couldn't find the bottom.
Did Ellanya ever see the temple when she's in the 4th level? She's down there for a few months.
She's not seen it.
Sweet.
You can surmise pretty solidly that it is not located around Hopel.
Just swim through the river down each level. Just dive.
If you could hold your breath that much, you could. Technically, no one has been able to do that up to this point.
I'm sure there's a spell for that.
Like wild-shaped fish.
Just use one of the Daedovin's pods and just dunk it in and jump in and go.
That's a brilliant idea.
More reason to get to the back to the 2nd level of the fracture. Guys, I don't know if I had a chance to express to you my idea. I'm just going to mention this. What if we could set up a forward base of operations on the 2nd level of the fracture in Mist and Sweat in the Daedovin's workshop, where there happen to be those escape pods conveniently located with access to the river?
You say forward operating facility.
Would you be able to figure out how to navigate this pod?
Anything is possible with enough time and a wrench.
Then let's get to the 2nd level.
Huum, Vall?
With what resources are you going to set up this forward area?
Well, that is a good question.
What manpower are we going to use to drag this all down and not have it be ravaged by monsters?
The existence of the ruins of Mist and Sweat prove that trying to set up any kind of forward base there would prove unfruitful.
Well, I would like to point out to you that the folks who set it up beforehand did not have a sentient ooze blessed by Valia that is now protecting the city that we happen to be friends with.
Too much, Ghastgar. Too much. You just did that thing you just got mad about.
You're right. I did. And I pull out my caltrip gun and I look at my tail.
You know what to do. Commit. Do it. Do it.
To be fair, this was one of my secrets.
The toll must be paid. I take the gun and I shoot Ghastgar.
Ghastgar, do you resist this?
No, I don't.
You're shot in the tail. Roll a d4.
D4 away. For a 3.
3. It was almost near the base of the tail. That one hurt really bad.
Ow, 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 ow. Ooh. Ow. Deserved. Ow.
Huum kept pulling the trigger because he didn't feel anything activated. He's like, is this thing still working?
I reach up and I grab the gun and I was like, stop pulling the trigger. Ow.
From
report.
Up top on the surface, you definitely hear someone, "Ow, my foot!" as you apparently accidentally shot it through a hole that hit someone's foot just as they were walking above.
But I grab it and I flip a couple of switches and I pull the trigger again and the caltrop comes out.
Ow, my foot! A second! What? I don't even see what I stepped on!
No. The caltrop is like it reverse teleports.
Removed itself,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Where now he's looking down trying to see what he stepped on. It cannot see anything.
Oh, no. I was pointing it at my butt.
Oh, never mind. You've removed it there. Never mind.
Ow, my foot! It's still in there!
Okay. So with that, Edward looking at you strangely and who's blessed by Valia. That's very strange. Well, so we're being told that we have a possible base of operations on the 2nd level. Several of you need to get to somewhere that you don't know exactly where it is on the 4th, and yet we're still, at least for what the Shade declared, supposed to try to unite as a people and rise against him given 1 year's time. What is our next course of action?
We are supposed to go talk to the other nations.
Right now it's to rest. We are all exhausted. It's a long day, and we can regroup in the morning.
I would also like to say, I think we need more friends.
Agreed.
So we need a destination first. That is first, not a fracture. Let us decide on that.
Vall, what about your friends in the southern Sandlands? Do you think they would rally?
They will rally for a price. I would be willing to bet.
First off, if we are talking about the Sandlands, you can drop any mention of the word friend.
Okay. Would your acquaintances in the Sandlands be willing to rally if the price was saving their own skin?
They would sell you the skin off their own back if it would make them a profit. They would curse themselves into oblivion to make a single credit. These are not the kind of soldiers you're used to dealing with, Kruz. These are not admirable, upstanding individuals.
Well, we need...
They're modeled after Vall.
Compared to them, I'm kind.
That's terrifying.
And you would be well to know.
You're a regular Mother Teresa.
I've never once been a mother in my whole life. You take that back.
We need to rally people, I don't want to say for our cause, for the cause to stop the Silvered Shade. I really want to go get my hammer, but that can wait. So we need to set a destination, and we need to do something. We need to set that destination quick instead of just floating through the air.
Let's go to Morin. Let's just go to Morin. It's closest to a fracture. It's a destination, and I can get some rest.
I like the sound of Morin. The Sandlands do not sound like the easiest place for us to begin rallying folks. And while I think we do need to check that list eventually, let's maybe not demoralize ourselves with starting there.
It's a swift place to lose everything you've ever had.
Parker, Vall, what do you think about Morin?
I've never been. I have no opinion.
Has Kruz been to Morin? Has Kruz been to Morin outside of any military movements?
You have visited several times. Everrain and Morin are very close allies, and you would have been sent there just on a couple ceremonies before.
Doesn't my little dwarven friend that I gave the warhammer that turns into a cannon work in Morin?
Yeah, no, he lives there.
Okay, so yeah, I at least have one contact there, so Morin is a good start.
Parker?
If I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure my parents are actually from Morin, so I might have some family there.
And maybe a long lost aunt, grandparents.
I'm not sure. My family doesn't talk about their time in Morin much.
Isn't your family on the ship?
They are.
Maybe we should make it a point to go ask your mom and dad about their time in Morin.
What do you know? What do you know? Talk to me or I shoot. I'll throw you right off this airboat.
You say to the one-armed musician.
Please do not shoot my father.
It looked like he had already had a hard enough time dealing with the monsters. I think the last thing he needs is a bullet.
Or that's the thing he needs most.
Dark, Sawyer. That's dark.
So are we going to Morin then?
I'm gonna go tell Swiss to put us on autopilot to Morin.
With that, Kruz is going to leave and go check on Merdina.
Okay. The rest of you? It is getting fairly late by this point.
I go and do my thing with Swiss, and I turn to Parker as I walk out. Can you meet me in 5 minutes?
Where?
Have you found a place that looks like some private quarters, some bedrooms or anything? Maybe we could meet in whichever room you claim?
Okay. I will. I'll find a room. You'll know. I'll leave a sign.
Thank you. Just put a sock on the doorknob.
Tell the person that doesn't wear shoes or socks and walks around in hooves all day. Put a sock on the door.
But he only own one sock.
Leave me your calling card, darling. All right, Ellanya is gonna dip out and go into her chambers.
Okay. Ellanya. Okay, never mind. Okay. Dip out to your chambers. You're able to find one of the many... Both you and Parker are able to find one of the kind of nondescript... what is it called?
Cabins.
A cabin kind of accommodations that they have on the ship. Vall, what are you doing?
Vall is currently on his way to speak with everyone except for Commander Sudanin, Scorpio, and Tumblebrook.
Okay. Well, Ghastgar, when you head up to the deck along with Kruz, you look up and you see your forge. It is completely covered in glass. I mean, there's literally glass strewn everywhere. You have just globules, just absolutely just straight. It looks like a spider web, but of glass. And you see Merdina with one of the like metal poles, just like slapping it on the ground, like get off. She like blows it. It just like spittles out all over the forge some more.
She's like, what the going? I'm doing what he told me to do.
And your forge is now completely covered in molten glass.
Kruz is going to walk back in the room, grab a wooden chair, go back out, break the wooden chair, stoke Jerry up, and get to work cleaning the molten glass by having Jerry melt it more as he scrapes it up and puts it back into the cistern in the forge.
I turn to Jerry, and as you're about ready to throw the wood in, Jerry, do you need a nap? Or do you want to keep going? This looks painful.
Jerry looks to you in this like look of almost like pained. It looks like he has been watching something unfold very painfully that he has not been able to help with at all or give any insight into. And it's just been this constant like cringe of just like, keep trying. You're failing, but keep going. And in regards to continuing this, he does nod less to you and more to like Merdina and like.
I hold up his canister and I shrug. The door is open, and I shrug.
You see him kind of like a little tendril like wave down, like leave it there, just in case.
I know. I shake my head and be like, no, I keep with.
You see two flaming fists kind of like pop out, and then him like kind of like shadow box for a second and just kind of like shrug like, I can fight anything over it. I'll keep an eye on it.
I'm not. I'm worried about somebody accidentally kicking it off the side by total random accident.
He nods and then waves to you.
Okay.
Like, okay, yeah, keep it. It's fine.
Okay, and I walk over to Swiss. I imagine I know more or less the direction that we need to head for Morin.
Yes.
Okay. I give Swiss instructions. I go over to the other random crew and I say, hey, if you twist this valve at that, if you set that pin in that location, we should be on an autopilot to be at a cruise altitude, and provided anything really obtuse occurring, we should be fine.
It's a good thing you say this because the 2 Deodovan are the only 2 left on the ship. None of the other Half Moon sellswords are anywhere on the ship deck at all, actually, by this point.
Yeah, I expected that.
Though, in pointing it out, one of the Deodovan does look down at you. Or, actually, look at you because you're about as tall as each other.
You are actually correct. I'm very impressed in the idea that you have not ever flown one of these vessels, but you seem to have deduced how it works fairly cleanly. All right, we'll get it done.
And he goes and he begins to set the pins.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are your D&D games feeling stale, plain, or downright boring? Upgrade them today with beautiful landscapes, terrifying dungeons, wholesome inns, and vast forests. Draw your players into your own personal fantasy world with Arkenforge. Arkenforge.com provides hundreds of preloaded items for you to mix and match to fully customize your worlds. Use promo code CRITNIT to get $5 off your purchase today. That's CRITNIT. CRITNIT.
Hey everybody, this is Chris Cornish, your Audiomancer for Critnit. I just want to take a little time out to ask you to do a couple of things for us. Find us on Twitter and follow us if you haven't already. We are at crit_n_it. Also, if you could please leave us a rating and review on iTunes or Google Podcasts or wherever else that you find us, it would help other people find us and get the story out to others. And speaking of the story, let's hop back into it.
Vall, having reached the deck, none of your sellswords are there.
I immediately check the sides of the ship.
Looking down the sides of the ship, you see one of the portholes has a light in it, and the light suddenly flashes.
I go down to the according room to that porthole.
Okay. You hear, as you get close to the door, just utter laughter, just emanating from the other end.
Nope, it's time to break and enter.
Okay. How are you doing this?
I'm going to bust out my lockpicks and get to work.
Okay, please roll sleight of hand.
Natural 20 for 26.
Natural 20 crit damage! You are able to charm this lock in a moment. And not very complicated. Deodovan make very cheap. And the door is unlocked. How do you enter?
I will enter stealthily, just creaking the door open, checking for anything hanging above or in front of the handle that might tip over, and then sneaking my way in.
Okay. It's a very good thing you did, because set right above the door is a pail that as you open the door ever so slightly, you see it begin to kind of tip towards you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that with me.
Popping it off, you find it to be full of molasses?
Where did they even find this? Was this on the ship? What did they want?
It's not actually. As you open the door and close it behind you, and you find all of your sellswords packed into one room. This one room having one bed, but it is able to contain all of your sellswords. They are laughing their heads off right now as a familiar wooden box is now in the center of the room, and you see Button right now with a flask of some kind of liquid now pouring out of it, and he's drinking it as you recognize this as maple syrup. And you see one of them right now has a dagger, and as they're like poking at like small buttons, it's turning into wool every time and like this yarn stuff, and they're just laughing their heads off right now. One of them at the moment has these gloves that as he's beginning to kind of clap, there's like little sparks that's coming off of them. This is great. And that's actually Commander Sutanine with the gloves. This is great.
Oh, Huum. Welcome in. Sorry we couldn't find you. We're having quite a lot of fun here.
You started without me. That is what I am most hurt about, Commander.
I'm sorry.
I'll fling the bucket at Button.
Let's see. Oh, I don't have my. There we go. It splashes onto Button. but was not fast enough. And as he kind of reaches out his hand, he's the one chugging, and he sort of like reaches out one hand, misses it, it hits the bottom of the bucket, and the bucket just tips forward and just hits him in the side face. He's just covered in molasses now.
I appreciate the gift at the door.
Button begins to sign to you that he is glad you enjoyed it. He is too. As he just begins to kind of like drink as much as he can out of the bucket now.
So, who's gotten what so far?
Commander Sudanese sits down. Well, I put in the gloves. I got these weird sparking ones that, you know, it's kind of cool. Button put in his flask, and he managed to get one that brings out endless molasses, I'm supposing. Tastes very good. But, more than that, we were also able to get this dagger, and Tumblebrook holds up the dagger, that anything we stab with it turns into fabric. Very interesting. We haven't tried to stab anyone with it, but we imagine it'd be very potent. And right now, cooking inside of it, we have a fruit.
How did they get the box?
How did they get the box? That's a great question.
How the heck did they get the box?
That's what I'm saying.
That's a great question. How the heck did they get the box off of Ghastgar? I don't know. May have been some secret rolls I have been rolling kind of throughout you being on the ship with a bunch of thieves. One of them having been like a 29.
Oh, man. Well, it definitely would beat my passive, that's for sure.
That's what I was like. Once I rolled it, I'm like, well, I guess he has it now. And naturally, they're having fun. They don't know the bad things that happen with it, so they're just going ham.
So let's up the ante. After the fruit gets out, Vall will then lay on the table his spread of 7 firearms.
Okay. All of them immediately clasp their hands and kind of start sitting around. Good. Tumblebrook comes back. Very good. We should be able to get something very good out of these.
Indeed. Let's see what happens. Also, I do have news for all of you.
Oh?
It seems like the others have decided on a heading for Morin.
Oren?
So I know that there are at least a few of you who currently have active bounties. So you might want to make yourself scarce before we hit that border.
See several of them definitely like straighten up a bit. Tumblebrook in particular. I'll make sure that I have a disguise on. Very good. It's not hard to fool Moranians, it's just the height. We stick out very much like a sore thumb. Oh, who knows? Maybe the box will give something that'll make us seem very short.
Indeed. Let us see what we will receive.
Just shove them into the box. I bet they'd fit.
Opening the box, the prayer that they had put in previously is lit with a fuse running into the fruit.
Is the fuse also lit?
Yes.
Someone open the window.
Commander Sutanid pushes open the window.
I fling it out.
Okay, yeeting it out. You wait for about 5 seconds. This massive explosion rocks the ship for a second as everyone's kind of like shook back and forth.
Ghastgar runs to the edge of the ship to look over the side.
Kruz stands up and says, "That wasn't us."
Looking over the side of the ship, you see this just massive smoke cloud just kind of traveling by below the ship.
I would like to scan the side of the ship looking for a hole in it. Did something just blast us, or did something in the ship explode out and we now have damage to the ship?
Looking down, you actually don't see any damage to the ship.
I call over one of the Deodovan folks. Is that normal?
They immediately look over the ship. They're looking over and they're looking down and no, that was not normal at all. There was no way that was us.
So we're under attack. Are we under
I don't know. Are we?
I scan the horizon.
Make a perception check.
Can Kruz jump off the opposite side and do a search around the ship?
Sure, make a perception check.
I rolled an 11, But I'm going to use my last flash of expertise before I need a long rest to add a +5 to that, so it's 16. I'm basically using one of my orbs to make it go up very high, very, very high, and make an exceptionally bright light.
I rolled a 17.
Perfect. Kruz, making a quick flight around the ship, you don't see any other impacts or shots or flashes or anything else.
Damage to the ship at all?
No damage to the ship. Ghastgar, you're looking around and you don't see anything either. It seemed like a cloud literally just exploded that you guys were next to.
I pull out my tinkering journal. In the skies above Hopel, between Hopel and Warren, clouds explode. Noted.
I love it. Okay. And with the porthole having been closed after you threw it out, Commander Susanin looks to the rest of you all, and everyone is sitting there kind of trying to catch themselves a bit, and you see Button look to you all and sign, "Shall we put a pistol in?"
We all nod enthusiastically and stuff the pistol in the box.
All right, please roll D6.
Roll the 4.
Roll the 4. Okay. Please roll 3 D100s.
The first D100 is a 12.
Yeah.
The second D100 is a 96. And the third one is a 19.
19. Okay.
Very up and down.
The doors to the box fade and then reappear.
Well, time to open the box and check out the chaos.
Perfect. Having opened the box immediately. Wow, this thing sucks at shooting. You see the pistol immediately rubberized, bounce up, hit the ceiling, hit the ground, hit the side, bullets, bang, 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 as it does. It is flying around this room, ripping off of each wall, ceiling, and floor, and just firing bullets into random directions. It is a miracle it did not hit any of you this first volley.
I would like to catch the gun.
Please roll a dexterity check.
Well, you wish Ghastgar was here, because that was a nat 20.
Total of 21.
Total of 21. Fantastic. You grab a hold of the pistol grip as it goes. Vall, you find yourself lifted off of your feet. Hit the ceiling, hit the wall, hit the side, hit the wall. You take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you are now being brought along with this pistol, as it is now hitting you along the side. Now for its second volley of bullets, which I have rolled nothing over a 9 right now, and bullets are now flying through the walls. The rest of you are now beginning to hear bullets just flying, rip-roaring through the middle of the ship.
Ghastgar goes running in that direction, and I look over at Merdina. Shots are being fired. Come with me.
Merdina, who at the moment has scraped off most of the glass from the forge, looks at you. All right, she grabs her axe. Let's go.
Jerry, you come too.
Jerry floofs out of the forge and begins to follow right behind you.
Kruz is gonna pick up his shield and be like, okay, I guess I'm going too.
Okay. Vall, Commander Suthani, throws open the window. Throw it out this one, Vall.
And Huum will take a bonus action to steady himself and fling this thing with all of his might out that window.
Make a strength check, please.
That's not good. That was a natural 1.
Critical gambit!
I was just gonna say that.
Critical gambit.
Critical
Do
gambit.
Do it.
Y'all know it's a trap to use it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a fun one.
Entirely!
Do it.
All right, send it. Let's go.
Yes!
Let's go, boys. And
I got a 12.
12? Okay. Plus your strength.
Plus 3 makes 15.
Perfect! The critical gambit succeeds! succeeds.
I don't know what wins on that, and it scares me every time.
I don't know if the modifier changes the results.
It is the roll on the die first, and then whatever modifiers are applied afterwards.
Oh, that's awful.
Now, Vall, it's worse, but it is amazing. You grabbing this pistol, you find yourself now bouncing, and just it happens to be the door that you lockpicked didn't lock, and it kind of like swings open. And for a second, you look like you're about to go bouncing into the hallway with this pistol that you can't let go of at the moment. And yet, Commander Sutanine, Button, and 3 of your other sellswords grab you, and they yeet you back, and they pull the door closed. And at that time, they throw you halfway out the window, and your hips hit the porthole, and then immediately the gun flies out of your hand, shooting its way down. One shot coming within about a foot of your head as it flies down somewhere into the back of Edranis. The wildlands of Edranis, where there is now a wild pistol just shooting randomly that will begin its reign of terror across the wildlands of Edranis.
How many bullets does it have?
Infinite!
I called this. I said, Vall has dem hips, and now his hips save him in the window. 4 episodes later.
If the infinite bullet gun meets up with the knives squirrel and have children, we got a problem.
I mean, yes, I suppose.
Sweetsy. Oh, I forgot about Sweetsy.
Yeah! Ghastgar, you, Jerry, Kruz, you are there as well, and Merdina make it down to the bottom. You see a door suddenly close.
Can I discern if that is the room in which I heard shots being fired from?
Are there any bullet holes?
Bullet holes in the walls?
There are several bullet holes through this door.
Kruz is gonna brush by and start pounding on the door.
I draw my rifle and I have it leveled at the door.
Okay, Kruz, you're pounding on the door. Do you open it?
Kruz is gonna pound on that door and then go into sweet voice. Bump, 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 bump. Housekeeping.
Okay, well, having requested housekeeping through this door, the door opens. Commander Sutanine is standing there. All of the sellswords and Vall right now packed in this tiny room, but at the same time are, just kind of sitting there quietly. For the time being, it looks like Button is reading a book. A couple of the other ones are playing cards on the table. Vall right now, what are you doing?
I am making my doodles. I have pulled out my stack of papers, and I'm just drawing away.
Do I see the box on the table?
Oh, no, they're all just chilling, and they look, and Commander Sutani, yes.
Look, I get you guys are a rowdy bunch, and you're having fun, and is that guy over there drinking molasses?
Looks over at Button, who at the moment is, wiping a bit of stuff from his face. Yes, he does that. Button, I told you to stop drinking syrup. It's bad for you.
Well, when you guys are done with your sugar high, can you guys keep the bullets out the window, or just don't fire bullets at all?
Yes, no, we had a little bit of a misfire. I'm sorry.
Bit. That was a lot of shots.
I'm totally staring down Vall. Any sort of chuckles coming from him, even the slightest of them.
Nope, just doodling. I sure do love my doodles.
He does love his doodles, and Commander looks down and sorry, it won't happen again. We apologize.
Oh, insight check.
Please roll insight.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same.
Oh, yes. That's a nat 20 with a +2, so 22.
I got a 18 with a +1, so that is 19.
Wait, this should be higher. Oh, no. That's, okay, yeah. 22.
22. Well, with a 22, you look into Commander Sutanine's eyes. He looks down at you. He's tired, and he's done with dealing with his people's bull crud. And yeah, there was just a pistol that went off stupidly. He's not having it anymore.
Go to bed. Quit firing guns.
I'm sure there are more cabins. Do you want to find a different room? Do I need to break this rowdy bunch up?
We're fine. Don't worry. We'll be asleep in the matter of moments. We all have slept in much worse conditions, I assure you.
Okay, well, if I hear another gunshot go off, then you guys are going to be sleeping on the bottom of the ship.
You're not going to hear any more gunshots. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
If you want to fire guns, I'm okay with that. There's some cannons up on the main deck that you can shoot off into the distance if you would like.
Button closes his book. You see Commander Suther. No. She said going to bed first. Do not tempt him.
Do not fire guns inside sleeping quarters. Please.
All right. Oh.
We've already had enough people die today.
We won't. We will make sure that there is no such thing happening. All right. It's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ghastgar. Thank you, Kruz. Thank you. And then closes the door.
I drop a locator in that room.
Roll slide van.
26.
26. Okay. You successfully slide the locator down into the room.
Okay.
The door is closed.
Cool.
Okay.
Kruz is going to turn around and say, now that foolishness is done, I'm going to clean the forge. Jerry, Merdina, please accompany me.
You see Merdina kind of bleary-eyed right now. Her eyes kind of going in two separate directions. It's just... Kruz, I think I'm going to go to bed. I
have a piece of candy.
I look at her, Merdina. I'm going to tell you this lovingly and as a friend. You suck at blowing glass. Go to bed.
Hey now, I mean, just because that's true doesn't mean that you have to put...
Also, if your lungs are still on fire, go talk to Relic.
I hope no one saw that, but I guess everyone did. Yeah, well, my instructor just kind of left me in the middle of my lesson, so I'm going to blame it on him.
I was pulled away.
I blame a lot of things on Kruz. You're in good company. Jerry, let's go.
All right, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed.
And she wanders her way out.
And I begin to go look for a sock on the doorknob.
I'm taking Jerry back to the top deck.
Jerry shrugs and follows you.
I held up the canister to Jerry. Be like, I'm going this way. This is another chance if you want to come with me.
I'm going to hold up a chunk of coal.
Jerry looks at you, looks at the coal, looks at you, and he swoops into the pen.
I pocket it and go about my business.
He's tired, man. He's had a rough day, too.
Uh-huh.
How much glass did we get cleaned up?
You got the majority of it cleaned up.
Okay, for the rest of it, I'm going to let it cool and then just shatter it with my hammers and then sweep it up.
Okay. Ghastgar.
Knock, knock, knock. Parker, you didn't fall asleep, did you?
Parker opens a door with the robe and he's like, hello. Just kidding.
He's all got a velvet robe and a glass of wine going, I've been waiting for you.
Giggity, giggity.
No, Parker's been spending this whole time looking for a sock. Because I don't wear shoes. Kruz is a dragon boy. Vall is a Leonin. The only person I know who has socks might be Ellanya, and I haven't seen her.
You leave my socks alone.
Thank you for volunteering your sock for Parker to find and steal.
Yep. It smells so bad. Like, it smells so bad when you pick it up.
I desperately want to hear the roleplay of Parker asking Ellanya for a sock.
Ellanya has blessed Parker with a sock. Parker's free.
Parker's free!
Parker's a free Santa.
And all our Harry Potter fans have been immediately satisfied.
Oh my god, that was good.
That is fantastic. Well done, sir. That was great.
Thank you.
And for that, Ellanya, you were the one who had your sock taken.
What? Those are long socks. That sucks.
Yep.
I'm gonna notice.
Sorry, it was the joke. The joke made it happen. It was too good. It has these like nice floral print too. Like it. Oh, it's so nice.
No, that is gray and wool and knitted by Relic himself. He knitted me a sock.
Oh, it's great. It's a gray wool knit sock.
What I imagine I walk into in this is it took me longer than the 5 minutes to get to the door because of stupid gun problems. And I knock on the door and I hear some thump, 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 thump. And the door opens and Parker has got the other sock, trying it on, going, "What? What is it that you guys do with these things? These things are so awkward."
I just don't understand that they don't cover the hoof very well. And they keep falling off? What is this shape? I don't get it.
I don't understand either.
Ghastgar, you scared the hell out of me. What are you doing here? I'm not trying the sock on. Get out.
Oh my gosh.
This is the comedy relief bit that our audience has been craving for like the last 10 episodes.
Yes. All right. You open the door and Ghastgar jump scares you.
Get that silly human thing off your leg. And poof. I need to ask you about your impression of my name is.
Parker will gesture to have you shut the door behind you and come into the room.
I do so.
My name is... My name is... What do you have against her?
I just do not get any sort of sense of trustworthiness from her from any of our interactions. Also, she may be the god no one.
Oh, don't be silly. That's Edward.
It's Edward?
I'm thoroughly convinced it is. He denies it, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. But I kind of want to kill her if she is no one.
Surprise, surprise.
Ooh, you have interest in killing the gods.
Just that one. Just that one.
Before we do kill anyone, let's confirm suspicions on who we think no one might be.
Well, what I understand of the god of no one is that if I am indeed the godling of no one, I have been used to do their bidding, which is exactly what I accidentally signed up for, was tricked into by my name is. And I hate that, and I am real sick and tired of people using me for their own agendas, and I'm especially ticked off at the Silver Shade for the same exact reasons. So yeah, I kind of want to murder someone.
As Parker kind of makes the mental connection with what Ghastgar kind of pointed out, that I could see where you're coming from. I know you're upset, but I would not want the weight of killing an innocent without fully validating that they are there who we assume they are.
Fine.
With the research that me and Ellanya are working on with, I'm not thoroughly convinced that taking out a god would be as simple as shooting it with your gun.
You probably have a point there. But, well, let's just say it would certainly make my night to see my name is fly over the side of the ship. Even if she is a god and totally does not die, it certainly would be very satisfying.
I'm struggling to find a way to redirect your anger.
My friend, I do not want to be the godling of my name is, nor the god of no one. I absolutely detest this idea that I was created to be the servant of someone else. It seems to be the curse of my entire existence. Before I have memory, apparently, I was the servant of a god. After having memory, I was the lab experiment of the Reinhardts. Since then, I have been the servant of my name is, which very well could be an echo back to being a servant of the god of no one. I am sick and tired of people using me as their servant.
Parker will walk up to you and place a hand on your shoulder. Do not live in the past. You might have been a servant to these people before, but moving forward is a new chapter. Do not be their servant. Do not be their tool. Forge your own path.
What is Lola doing?
Pantomiming what Parker is saying.
Don't worry about it. You cannot see what's going on here.
Who's Lola?
I know, Parker, but it truly feels as if I am bound by some sick and twisted fate, and I am abundantly tired.
By allowing your prior servitude to control your emotions now is only allowing them to control you. Still, I don't disagree that you are upset, and I do not deny that for you, but there will be a time, and that time will come.
And for the record, can we just kill Kruz too? He seems to be a pain.
I actually rather enjoy Kruz.
With that rebuttal, Ghastgar cast himself from the highest point in Olympus.
You're just a fanboy. I thought you were supposed to be the main act.
Thought you were cool, man. Like killing your friends level of cool.
Just recently, if I recall, he was the one standing next to me when everyone attempted suicide in the fracture.
Attempted suicide? Wait, what?
The when we came full circle and everyone leaped and it was just me and Kruz.
Oh!
When Ellanya teleported and we all didn't know it.
That's right. Alright. Listen, I need to find answers about who I actually am and what I have done before in the past. And I also need to not be bound by it, but I need to know. Everybody else seems to know about who I am or what I was and are using me to that purposes. But I frankly really have no idea what the heck I am or what I was beforehand, what I had done.
Insert Phil Collins, I want to know. Will you show me?
I want to know. Have you ever seen the rain?
Bless the rains over Africa. Sorry.
Totoro! Or Toto, not Totoro. Jesus Christ. Toto!
Oh no, jeez.
I forgot my Totoro.
Ghastgar, let me ask you this. When you find those answers to who you were and what you've done, will they change who you are now?
No, but people won't be able to use that information to control me without me understanding why. I want to know what is so alluring about me that stuff that I don't know. I don't understand. I don't think that this is going to change me at my core as if it's going to totally make me a different person. But if I can if I can have some insight into why I have been so vehemently targeted, And it might help me dodge a few bullets.
Very well. If there's any assistance that you need, holy Jesus Christ. If there's any assistance that you need from me, let me know.
You just figured out how to use the sock.
It's so comfortable and warm.
It's easy, add lotion.
It's comfortable and warm, but it's also a capsule that, like, restricts the freedom of the feeling in your feet. Or in your case, hooves. I mean...
Wherever he put it.
I mean, isn't it weird that you don't have a direct connection to the earth? Or at least the ground that you're on? Not that we have any connection to the earth right now.
Yeah.
Yes, through my hooves.
Isn't that weird? Why would somebody ever willingly disconnect themselves from that? I don't get it.
We got baby soft Pete's. It hurts.
Toughen up, pansy.
The feet of a humanoid is weird. And weak, quite frankly, but quite alluring to its soft and fluffy outsides.
All right, softfoot. Ellanya's feet have got some nasty druid fungus.
What? Excuse me?
She's an elf, not a halfling.
Hey now. Yeah, Relic's been trying to treat that for years. You need, jeez, shush.
I'm gonna run away. Ellanya jumps off side of the cliff.
We don't know, Parker. What? They come with mushrooms? Parker, probably.
Parker, Ghastgar, you find your way to your beds, I'd imagine. Vall, you're bedding down with your sellswords. And Ellanya, your top drawer has been run through when you get back to your bed. You don't seem to be missing anything except for a pair of socks, but...
Oh, those were my favorite ones. God dang it! And I'm gonna slam my drawer shut.
Probably one of the sellswords, honestly. They're a very shifty bunch. There's no reason why anyone else on the ship would have taken them.
Ellanya, before she lays down, she's just gonna go through those journals. But I have it where she just like threw all her journals in her bag, so she's just like dumping them out in the same fashion on her bed. And then when that happens, actually, there's gonna be like a little folded picture frame that falls out, and she's gonna pick it up and look at it for a moment while she sits on there, getting ready to meditate.
And what is it of?
Ooh, one side is it was Guild No One before she left to the 8th level, and then the other side is her with her father, and then her with Relic, and it's like a little folded picture frame with pictures, like sketches inside of it. She was meant to give it to Relic before, she was meant to give it to Relic before things went crazy, but things kind of went crazy really quick. So she kind of forgot about it.
Right. Okay. So is it, do you go through any of the papers, or do you just enter your meditative state?
I'll go through my papers real quick. Get it all organized.
Okay. Taking a good long while to make sure everything is organized and well kept. It is running about 10 o'clock by this point. But everything is well kept and organized and pretty quiet.
And I will start to get ready to meditate.
Okay. Running about 11 o'clock. So having begun meditating, you do hear something. And something familiar to you in particular. Outside of your door. A familiar footstep. Just kind of thunk, thunk, thunk.
It's Parker
thunk.
to return the socks.
No, it is the heavy thunk of Relic making his way by your room.
Out of habit from when I was a kid, I'm going to open the door just a crack and kind of like peek out.
Okay. Roll a stealth check.
Oh, God. That was a 1?
Gambit.
I have the worst. No. You guys, take your gambling elsewhere. No, the worst outcome is Relic is not Relic. I get stabbed to death or something. I'm good. Like, I'll just not critical gambit this.
Fair enough. Okay, well, having...
The bouncing gun comes back.
It hits the ground so hard that it bounces right back up into the ship, through an open window.
Like a bouncy ball.
With the knife squirrel riding on top of it.
That is bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Roll for initiative. This is my campaign now.
There's another one! Ellanya, you see Relic right now walking down the hall. And as you open the door, this door in particular had not been oiled. And as you open up, and Relic immediately stops and looks back right at you as you're peeking through just the inch that you cracked it open. And he's looking right at your eyes.
My eye gets really big for a second. I shut the door. And I'll reopen it slowly in shame.
You see Relic looking at you, a wide grin on his face. You see him kind of like nudge his shoulder over as if like for you to follow.
Oh, sweet. I'm gonna kind of skip over.
Perfect. It's hilarious, actually. Opening up the rest of the door, it doesn't creak at all. It just seemed like that 1 inch at the speed that you opened it up is the thing that made it creak so much.
Wow.
But making your way down to Relic, you do see him walking with as much as he smiled at you, walking with a semblance of solidarity. And you see him hit the stairs that kind of lead from the second level to the first level, and he kind of takes them one by one, very quietly and very slowly.
I'm gonna... Because I imagine Relic's taller than me, yeah, by quite a bit. He's a turtle.
Yes, he is.
Okay. So I'm gonna look up to Relic and... What's the matter?
As you both reach the top deck of the ship, he turns to you.
There's something I haven't done yet. And now that Hopewell has fallen, seems as though it's gonna have to be something that's done before the chance is lost.
And you see him kind of turn and begin to make his way to the stern of the ship.
Yeah, I'm just gonna follow him in silence.
It is a beautiful night. There are a few clouds in the sky, but the crescent moon right now is shining clearly down upon the ship. There are a million stars thrown in the sky, and you're able to feel kind of the cool night air rush by you ever so slightly in this very gentle breeze as the ship is going forward. You make your way up onto the back end of the ship, just behind where the steering wheel is, and there's a railing that kind of encompasses the general area behind it. And Relic makes his way to it. And at this point, he pulls something out. A single candle. And as he does so, you see him light the candle and set it onto the edge of the railing. You see a TB inscribed into this particular candle. And as he sets it down, you hear him say to himself,
To Thomas Brill.
and you see him produce several more candles from beneath his cloak.
Oh.
Pulling another candle, he sets it on
Before
the side.
he can light it, Ellanya's gonna put her hand on his arm, and she's gonna walk up and light it.
Having lit it, he says,
Tamian Diok, you were wonderful. A true guild member of no one. Team Halfling.
you see 3 of them right now having cues on them. And as he sets them one by one on the side of the ship, lighting each one from the first, he sets them and he says,
To Qui, Quinn and Quay.
And then he sets in the middle of them all one marked with a BF.
Bridalia foil. Any one of those boys would have made a wonderful husband. They were all so wonderful. It's a shame that none of them would be able to spend the rest of their lives with you.
Pulling another candle, he sets it on the side.
Shinigalo, you were a dear friend. A little off, but always there when we needed you.
He kind of sets it on the side. He pulls two now. This one you see kind of in this knotted fashion. And as he sets them there,
Tara and Taklo Mielin, you two so often were the glue that held this guild together. Your bond that you shared between you was unbreakable. You two loved each other like you loved life itself. I am proud to have called you my guild member. And even more than that, my dearest friends.
he pulls out two of them. These two kind of bound at the middle, and hands them to you, Ellanya.
Silkvartan, Impequil Remeren, not blood brothers, but brothers in bond. You two taught us that it was not blood that defined who we were to each other, but acts of service and kindness. You two showed us what we could be to one another. For that I thank you.
And as he pulls out the last candle and hands it to you with a big RF on it.
Rabath Fink, you were crazy to the end.
That's right.
But you defended the guild with your life. With everything you had.
And as he kind of takes a step back, you see him take out two more candles. These ones unmarked with any kind of insignia. And he hands one to you, Ellanya, and lights one himself. And he takes the candle and he sets it not on the railing, but kind of on the ground of the ship itself.
To Relic, one of the few remaining members who remember each one of you. Lower than the rest, for you all gave your lives in defense of this city and of the people of it. I hope to one day join you in a place as high as you are now held. Thank you for all that you gave, and I pray you are proud for what we will give.
And he bows his head.
I will light my candle, and I will kneel and put it down from Ellanya Amditho, one of the other last remaining guild members. I'm sorry I was not there. I'm sorry I cannot say goodbye. And I'm going to start shaking a little bit, and I'm going to look up to the night sky, and I'm going to say, Drata, if you can hear me, I want you to know, Legra de Dondon. When we both fell into the fracture, you said stay. What did you mean? Stay what? Stay hopeful? Because I have done that, Drata. I have. And here's the problem. When you're filled with nothing but hope, and you're not run with nothing but disappointment, your heart fractures, just like the ones in Edranis. And my heart can't bear this anymore. I have spent so many years searching for you, months in each level, to never find you. No sign, nothing. I will still continue to look for you. I will, until I find a sign.
But just in case you're gone, take this light. It's okay. And walk through the veil. And someday, I will see you there. And once you get there, find no one. Because they know who you are. I've spoken of you so much, Drada. And when you do, I will finally someday see all of my family together, because that's all I ever wanted. I just wanted you to find you and have a family finally. So take this and know that my heart is at peace if you are gone. Just give me a sign, something to let me know so I'm not wandering in the dark. Le Gras de Dondon. And I'm going to set the candle, I'm going to tilt the candle and put some wax on the board and put the candle in and pull out the sketch frame that I've made and pull out the one of all of the no one with Ellanya and Relic and all of the guild members laughing around a table, and I'm going to set it in the middle. This is what they look like if you need a guide. And Ellanya is crying at this point.
As Relic looks to you and he sees that you are crying, he looks down at the drawing and you see it's at this point also looking at all of the guild members that he once knew, and you just see tears now flooding from his eyes as well. And you see him still kneeling, kind of reach out an arm and just kind of like throw it around your shoulder and just kind of lean his head against yours. And you get the sense that this is as much for his comfort as yours, as he reaches out in the same pained remembrance of everyone, trying to compose himself best as he can. And you just see him looking at all of the candles and looking at the painting, or looking at the drawing, and just kind of chuckling to himself in sad but joyous remembrance of all of the people who he spent a very long time with, who he fought with, who he almost died with, and remembering everything he shared with them. And he bows his head.
After about a moment of silence, Ellanya's gonna grab Relic's hand and pull him into a little hug. And she's gonna squeeze his neck super hard, and she's gonna say, "All hope is not lost. We may have lost our home and the beacon of what we've created, but it's not gone. If there's one thing you've taught me, Relic, is to always have hope, even when you found me in the darkest parts of the world. You've become my Sla Drada, meaning the Soul Father. And I want you to appreciate that, because when I was told no one was gone, my first fear was I lost you. And it made me realize how grateful I should be for the ones who've taken me in instead of chasing after the past for so long. So thank you. And Le Gras de Dondon, Relic."
At you saying this, he wraps his arms around you and just brings you into a hug. And he just holds you close for several moments, and you feel him kind of shaking a little bit.
Every moment that you were down there, I feared that you had died. I cannot tell you how many times I wanted to just jump in that elevator, run down, and see if I could find you somewhere deep in that 8th level. But Valia told me that you were fine. She told me over and over again not to worry and that she had you. But I could not help myself. But, my little green leaf, I am glad to have you back. I know that I've lost much since the guild has fallen, but amongst all of them, I'm glad more than the rest that you are still here with me. I will do my best to keep you safe from the dangers of the world that I was not able to keep the rest from. Mark my words, I will fall long before you ever do.
And he just continues to embrace you.
Aww. And I'm gonna just to make the moment better, like, to his head, so I'm gonna lean in and be like, "You'll have to rock, paper, scissors me for that."
have a lot more years under my belt, Ellanya. You have many more before you.
And it's interesting. In this moment, looking out, you see all of the candles lit, their lights kind of flickering against the background of the endless starry abyss that is the night sky. And you swear almost for a moment that you can see the visages of each person kind of reflected in the candles as they flicker by. You almost see figures dancing between each other, and you almost hear just the general chatter of each other talking to one another and laughing. And Relic kind of like reaches down to his side where you know he keeps the orb of Valia, and you hear him whisper under his breath,
Thank you. Thank you for all that you've done. And for that.
And Ellanya's gonna look up, crying at that, and she's gonna say, the souls have moved on to the Vale, peacefully and without turmoil. We will meet them again soon.
I hope one day to meet them all, and to share a good meal with them again. I'm sure it's going to be one heck of a tale when either one of us go out.
Oh yes, I still have a bargain with a certain someone who thinks that he can outwit me still.
I count them a fool, whoever thinks they can outwit you, Ellanya the Thor, survivor of the world before, maker of the future.
Azrael kind of puts his arm around you still.
I'm sure he'll find them. And you know why I'm sure? Because I'm sure that Tamian Diork is going to be the one to want to tell your dad of all the mischief you and him got into when you were in the guild hall. When you two were messing up my name is his desk and leaving her stuff all over the place. Sure, he's going to be one to want to make sure that he knows that it was his daughter who was causing her so much strife.
Oh my! Do you remember when we took all of her ink and all the ink in the hall, and she had to go into the market to come back, and all her quills were gone?
I do remember that, because she came running in, and she knocked on our door, and I answered it, and I about got blown back into the fracture by the amount of yelling she did to me. Demanded that she get all of her ink and quills returned, and I had no idea what she was talking about. But I knew that you guys had some hand in it. This was one heck of a time.
Oh, yes. It takes a village to raise a child, and I had the best village.
And we had the best child.
And Ellanya's just gonna, really lean in to Relic.
And, his large old turtle form offering a substantial amount of comfort in that. And you do see, as the various candles kind of exude the visages of the various guild members, kind of one by one by one. You see Abelas's candle. And you see something kind of flickering in the light. It's not the visage of your father that you would have seen or that you would remember. It, just for the absolute briefest moment, just for the briefest of moments, seemed like a cloaked figure. And as you see the cloaked figure turn, just in the briefest of moment, you see a skeletal visage, and then it returns to a flame.
I'm gonna look up to Relic. Did you see that?
Relic's eyes trained on the candle flame. His eyes kind of move to you.
I did. You don't think that was who I think it was?
think it's exactly who we think it was. And I'm starting to be terrified at that my father's in the 20th level relic. With the Shade himself.
Perhaps it's not all bad. The Shade doesn't seem like he's malicious. Maybe he's being kept there, because you said that he jumped with you when you were a child.
But why would he be interested in my father?
Perhaps he's keeping him there to keep him alive. Maybe his sacrifice... He was injured on the way down. He couldn't keep him with you. He had to take him somewhere safe, but was able to leave you because you were uninjured. I don't know.
I think you're right. Shade saved my life. I'm sure he saved his as well, because I don't think the Shade would do that to me. I know it sounds crazy, Relic. I don't think he would.
Well, if I recall, Abelash had friends. If Donner's right heart is indeed the Shade, I imagine he wouldn't have killed him. I'm sure that he would have done the best for his friend.
My father knew Donich.
Possibility. They lived in the same time. It was about the same era where things went hectic. But who's to know for sure?
Don't know.
There's a lot of stories of them. But I will hold out hope that the vision that we just saw is not one of ill omen, but that your father is hopefully alive, and that at least the Shade has some hold on keeping him that way. I may be wrong, but that is what I hope for both you and for him.
Me too, Relic. Me too. Because I can't wait for the day you two get to meet. My two Dradas in the same room. It's going to be an event.
Oh, I'm sure he's gonna have some stories to tell me about when you were a little one, Tea Leaf. Him and I are gonna have plenty of time to swap stories, and whatever beautiful, sun-dappled story we wind up in at the end of this whole thing. But just know that I'm at least glad that both of us were able to share in raising you, because you are one special little elf. No Tea Leaf.
I'm gonna just hug him, just squeeze his neck.
And he returns, of course, in this very... You see like a look of pride in his eyes as he looks down at you and looks down or looks up at the rest of the candles. And they're all proud. Every one of them.
Can I turn and nod at the visages?
Yes. And it's almost as if when you do, they smile back.
This gives me hope. This right here.
Me too. Me too.
I'm gonna give him the other half of the picture. I was gonna pull it out of the frame because the frame is pointless now, but I'm gonna give him the other piece.
He holds it in his hands. And you see him just kind of like hold it to his chest. And embrace it.
That's so cute. Aw.
And in solemn remembrance, the night wears on. The candles continue to burn. And in this quiet vigil, you both keep through the night till the very last of the wicks are exhausted. The dawn sun comes, and Relic looks to you again and just gives you another hug.
Oh, I give him one back for sure.
You having been the one semblance of life as he once knew it, that is still by his side, and that he very much still cares more than life itself about.
And I would say the same for Ellanya, for sure. Like, she's like, this is like all I got that I trust. Like, no offense to my party, I just met them like 2 days ago. So I've known Relic since I was 12.
You've got
got to have known us longer than a week by now.
No, it's been like 2 days.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's only been about 3 days.
Yeah, that's in my notes, yeah. I rested one night.
It's only been 3 days since we fought the Grawl.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Time in game is very different than time out of game.
It's been 6 months out of game, but 3 days.
Suddenly, Ghastgar collapses out of the brief moment of heaviness.
And with that, the dawn sun rises. All of you begin to wake.
I was just going to say, as Relic and Ellanya turn around to look at the dawn sun, they notice Kruz snoring, leaning up against the wall after cleaning up all the glass all night.
I have a passive perception of 17. I would have seen you.
I was sleeping.
You were snoring, sir, because you're a snorer for sure. 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Oh my god, that was so awesome. All right, we're good. That was so sweet. I'm trying to be all cool and not emotional. Like, ugh.
With the vigil having been completed, the rest of you wake up to a fresh morning sun. Vall, you and your sellswords awake and begin to stretch, and naturally them waiting to be told what to do before actually getting to work because they want to milk the morning for as long as they can.
Normally, Huum would be included in this. However, these quarters are cramped.
Yes.
So he's going to excuse himself, abscond with the box before they get into any more trouble with it.
Okay. Please roll a sleight of hand.
Oh boy, sleight of hand was standing in the room. Not great. 19.
19. 19 is high enough to be able to open the porthole door and slowly bring in the string that they used to tie around the box to throw it out the window, clap it in the door to make sure if anyone checked the room, they wouldn't be able to find it. Rolling it back in, you're able to grab it and abscond with it perfectly. These people are designed and well-trained in hiding things in places and ways that people would not initially suspect.
If you were going to tell me to look for it, I was going straight out of the porthole. No questions asked.
See, exactly, yes. No, it was out there, Vall. You saw them put it out there because you were on the inside. But absconding with it out the door, does anyone else, Parker or Ghastgar, do either one of you wake as well?
I imagine I wake simply to go do the job of captaining and piloting the ship.
Okay. Ghastgar, as you are making your way out, Vall, have you stowed the box or have you just awoken and taken it and are just holding it on the outside?
I've stowed it because I'm going topside to get a read of the daily weather.
Okay.
Make sure we're not going to go fly into a storm and crash and burn.
Perfect. Parker, have you woken up as well?
Parker's awoken, yes.
Okay. Making your way out your door, you definitely see Vall begin to make his way upstairs. Vall, you see Ghastgar man the wheel, of which Swiss has in fact managed to keep you guys on course. Vall, make a nature check to see what today's weather will be.
With a 19, that is a 28.
With the 28, you see it's going to be clear skies. Making your way at least a day's journey, nearing the edge of Hopel, it seems like a vast majority of the moisture is beginning to fall behind you. This could change throughout the day, but at least at the moment, dry, clear skies for at least the next 3 hours.
We've only made it to the edge of the city of Hopel? You mean the edge of the country of Everrain?
Everrain.
Okay,
Everrain.
I'm like...
Yes, my apologies.
Swiss did not do his job at flying the ship.
He took us in circles.
Just circles, just nothing but tight circles. The tightest circles you can get.
What do you mean I spend all night whipping shit? Yes, do exactly that.
You're getting to near the edge of Everrain. But Vall and Parker, as you both clamber up to the surface, you see two things. You see both Kruz, asleep still on his forge. But you see Relic and Ellanya sitting at the stern of the ship.
Can Kruz wake up, see Parker, and say, "Is that a sock on your horn, or are you just happy to see me?"
Yeah, wait, no, this is important. Does Parker still have a sock on?
The sock is on, and it is on my foot.
Please have that so I will notice the sock.
So where are the socks? Have they...
Which horn?
Yeah, are they on the horns? Are they on the legs? Have they become arm warmers?
The socks are on the legs. They're about thigh highs for me.
Have you ripped holes in the bottom so that your hooves make direct contact?
I suggest you not do that, sir. Whoo!
My hooves might have worn them down in that area, but they're not holes. They're just not as padded.
I was just hoping to get a visual in my head of Parker walking out on the nice, smooth deck in socks, sliding around.
Have you never cut one stitch in a knit? It all comes apart.
Yep.
It's definitely showing some fray.
Oh, most certainly. Well, Ellanya, kind of bleary-eyed, but not as bad as Relic because you were able to catch some meditative moments throughout the night. You turn around and you see one Parker Prax begin to emerge from below deck, wearing your socks. Hey, that's the missing pair of socks from earlier. He's probably the one who went through your sock drawer.
I'm gonna tap Relic because Relic Totes made those for me. We're both gonna turn around and look at Parker.
Parker.
Oh, good morning, Relic.
Good morning to you. Are those socks? Where did you get those socks? Because those look awfully like the ones I made.
Parker will stop, look down, and grow very red in the face as he has forgotten he had them on.
I was going to say something.
Socks, I don't know what you're talking about.
You're not very sneaky. You left my drawer open.
Wait, your drawer open?
Yes, he went in my room and took my socks for whatever reason. I don't imagine his feet need warming.
Does Relic have a pair of socks that look identical?
Oh my god, yes, please! Relic has bought some matching socks for Christmas.
You know what? Yes, he does. He has matching socks. But looking down and seeing that his feet being much thicker than Ellanya's, they are very much different. And as Relic looks at you, Parker,
if you wanted new socks, I could have just made you some. You just needed to ask.
Frankly, I've never worn socks before. I've never needed to have.
But why did you need my socks? Those were my favorite pair. They go way up above the knees. They're so good to keep warm. Why did you take them? They're ruined, Parker!
Oh God, no, they're lovely. They're so warm.
I know they're lovely. They're mine.
Ghastgar said I needed a sock, so I grabbed a sock.
Ghastgar, why did he need socks?
I told him to do the international sign of we need privacy in a room by putting a sock on a doorknob to let me know which room was his and so we can have a conversation.
Wait a second. You don't wear socks either.
Right.
Why would you tell him to put socks on a door when you know that he doesn't wear socks either?
I just thought everybody had the doorknob sock.
The emergency doorknob sock? I understand. I make those at a premium. I sell them at my local farmer's market. They say do not disturb on them.
Yeah, that's what I was envisioning, is that somebody had a do not disturb doorknob sock.
Oh yeah, but unfortunately Parker just grabbed a pair of Ellanya's instead.
and now they're destroyed forever.
I'm sorry, Ellanya. Parker, I expected you to be prepared.
They do look strangely sexy, though. I cannot put my finger on it.
Oh my god!
And that is where we should end the episode.
We will end today's episode. You all right now are traveling yourselves to Morin. We have a direction. You all have a goal in mind. I'm very curious to see how this is going to all wind up working out, hopefully in the end.
You could say we're all a little curious.
Thank you all for listening. And remember, never stop telling stories.
Not even once.